Hello, beloved ones. Welcome to the Awakening Confidence Wednesday talk show. Here we are. Today we're just going to talk about low self-esteem. If it's the first time watching this, how much amazed my name? I am the embodiment queen, helping people to embody their authentic selves, awaken their confidence, and wake up their vibrant self so that they can live life from passion, power, and sensuality. Yeah, let us just let that sit in with us as we just feel into our body, as we're calling in that force of confidence, inviting in your authentic self, calling forth the passionate you, the one that embraces the fire from within, and the sensual aspect of yours, that one who says yes to pleasure. How does it feel to just say yes to pleasure, to just give yourself permission to immerse in this vibration of pleasure, confidence, authentic self, and just embody it so that it's not just an idea from out there, but it's who you are. Your body is in alignment with that. And yes, today we're just going to talk about low self-esteem, that sense of self, knowing that you have it within you to be successful in life. What do you say to that vibration of, I'm going to be successful? I am worthy of being successful. I have it within me to be successful in life. That ability and capability from within to deal with rejection, to deal, or even just the idea that as much, no matter how brilliant you are not for everybody. Ooh, this one is a big one. I'm just wondering what comes to you. Are you the kind of person who goes around wanting to please everybody? Are you the kind of person who takes rejection and make it all about you? Are you just able to embrace that, okay, rejection hurts? Because one other thing, again, if it's just an idea, if you are living in an idea of confidence or positive, it's even denying the emotions that might be present because of some experiences. It could be that rejection, where you're just feeling rejected, where you're feeling abandoned, and there is that pain. And I usually bring this up again, even when I talk about a breakup, be it divorce, whatever loss that you go through, there is pain. It doesn't matter how enlightened you are, you feel that pain. There is that hurt that just comes through. And what I realized, I'm just gonna throw in this one here, is that most people have an idea of being spiritual. Like, it's an idea. It's not who they are, because I don't think being spiritual, it means you get to cut off your human aspect. You just get to be human. As you might have heard this many times, that we are spiritual being having a human experience. And how can you have a human experience if you are denying yourself of that because you are too positive to experience being hurt, because you are too enlightened to experience your human side? So if it's just an idea, you're not gonna embrace that aspect of yours that is hurting. because you are holding into an idea of what even being spiritual is, of what being enlightened is, of what being positive is, because if you are feeling hurt, you are feeling hurt. That's it. Are you willing to embrace that? So if you have low self-esteem, it's also one of the ways that when you are rejected, it's like the other extreme. When you receive rejection, or when you experience rejection, rather, you make it about you. I am not worthy of being loved. You find so many things to make it about you and all that, and you just go that down road, and all that. You cannot even share your own opinion or just communicate how you are feeling. And this is also one of the things that if you do not have that sense of esteem, and you deny yourself even to be with the emotions, to feel whatever that is here, you don't even have the confidence to even express how you're feeling. If you are feeling hurt, to even admit even to yourself, because at times we look outside of ourselves to other people, and it's kind of like they don't care about how I feel. And I love to flip it. Whenever that is coming through, I just ask myself, am I present with myself? Am I acknowledging how I'm feeling right now? Or I am expecting other people to know how I am feeling, to read my mind, to read my body, to give me what I want without me not even being in a position to acknowledge that to myself. Do you see how twisted that is? And like I mentioned, that there is a study that was done, and in this study, they found out that people with low self-esteem, they fear rejection most. So instead, they find other ways of expressing of expressing themselves, or rather asking for support, instead of communicating what they desire, what they want. They'll rather sulk, or just whine, or just go and talk with somebody about what they want. They are not willing to come through to say, this is what I want, or this is what I know I deserve, or even to say, I feel disrespected when this happened, or I deserve a raise, or I want to make love with you. Just express what you want, communicate your desires. So instead of communicating their desire, they rather seek support by being indirect. They use, and actually, when you look at this as this indirect, looking for indirect support, it's kind of like bringing in the adaptive child, those adaptive children who, maybe when you wanted something, because you could not express what you wanted, the only way that you would ask for that is through crying. Or as a child, when you want something and your parents say no, then you just throw a tantrum in a shop. So where in your life do you see that happening, where something happens in a relationship, instead of addressing it as an adult, whether it's your desires or where boundaries are needed, instead of addressing it, you choose to whine, or you just sulk in there, because someone has to understand that what they did was not okay. Yet you have the voice, you can express yourself. How many opportunities have you passed because of this fear of rejection and these ways of indirectly seeking for support? Because in this study, what they find out is that it backfires. And I bet if you just honest with yourself, you might look at some friendships, some relationships, that if you were yourself, your authentic self, if you were confident enough showing up for yourself and for other people, things would have been different. But things got messy, because one of the messiest part, again, in this seeking indirect support, one of it is gossiping. So instead of being straightforward, you choose to go and talk about behind other people's back, sort of like trying to like you want other people to be on your side, you want people to feel for you, you want people to understand that someone is a bad person. And when that comes out at the end, because in life we go through life, so many things happens, and if you using that strategy to communicate or to seek support, then chances are you're gonna have some friction with different people. And you can imagine if your way of dealing with things is to go talk about other people, or even your boss to your colleagues, or even your colleagues to the other ones, or even your friends or your partner. They don't know what you want. Maybe they're not even aware that they hate you, or they're not even aware of what you want. But if you are not in a position to voice that out, to communicate that, to even take back feedback, whether it's criticism or something, if you're making it about yourself, you can imagine how that is affecting the relationships that you're having, because truly life is all about relations, and communication is kind of like the bloodline of relations. You know what how a miscommunication can fast mess up a relationship. But if you're in a position to sit down and say, let's have a conversation here, how that can shift things. So if you are the kind of person who is always feeling like everybody, when you look around and you feel like everybody has turned their back against me, it's just me, everyone is treating me bad, and whatever stories that you're telling yourself. And because one of the things that happened before I went live, I was cleaning the camera lens, and what just dropped in was just that, to say, if you don't have that sense of self, you feel unworthy, from what lens are you looking at life? From what lens are you really interpreting the experiences in your life? Let that sink in. And also observe what is happening in your body as you are bringing this up, as you are feeling into this. What are you observing? Do you feel your solar plexus tightening up? What's going on? Are you open to receive feedback? Do you care a lot about what the other people say about you? What would they think of me? What would they say about me? And you're afraid to be yourself because you're afraid of being judged. You're afraid of taking a risk and really going after your dreams, because I might fail and then other people might know that I am what? And I would like you to share with me where you're watching this from. Are you on replay? Are you on a live session? And what is your experience with yourself? Because one thing that I can share with you, there was a time when I was also operating from low self-esteem, and I didn't really express or communicate how I felt immediately. I would allow, my way was just allow things to pile up, and when it's too much, then there was like that whoosh energy, the anger that I have not been expressing for a long time. And the bad part with it is that from there, I would go into this law of guilt. I say the things I didn't want to say. And what's funny is that the times when I needed to say something, I did not say it. And it did not serve me, because it was anger, extreme anger, and then guilt, anger, guilt. So I was just moving through this vibrations, and it did not help me. It did not help my relationships. And the fear, even the fear of not being enough, where you just get to just say yes to everything or do whatever, thinking kind of like having to work, even in a relationship, having to work to be accepted in a relationship. Do you know how draining that is? And I was just thinking of um one experience I had in a relationship where this person, like with every single conflict, or let me just say disagreement, this person would say, okay, fine, maybe we should just end this relationship. Okay. And then I asked him, like, what do you mean by this? Why is it that every time when there is a disagreement, you rush to say, let's end the relationship? Do you really want to end it? Because I'm cool with it. And this person was like, no, actually, I just learned this when I was a boy that it's kind of like a defensive mechanism that he learned to say for him not to get hurt, he has to be the first one to sort of back out or something like that. It's kind of like he's accelerating or speeding up the rejection process, you know, kind of like he's preparing himself for that in case it happens so that it doesn't hurt much, which is counterintuitive. And that's exactly what happens when you don't have that when you don't have that high stable esteem. The way that you're trying to protect yourself, you realize that most of the time it doesn't really help you. It works against you. And if you look at life, how did you show up in a relationship, at work, even with the children or with the friends? What are the kind of conversation that if you had them, things would have changed for the better? Wow, what people, what did you lose people because of your lack of communication? Because at times you can be in relationship with someone who really cares, and they wish they can know what you want. They wish to know you, but you are not present in a relationship. You spend a lot of time worrying that you are not enough. You spend a lot of time trying to like sort of be in the forefront and work on what is needed so that you can be approved of. Like even asking too much, like, do you really love me? You know, the insecurity, which is it's just like that yucky energy that comes in and destroys the relationship. You get an opportunity. This was a big one for me, where it's kind of like when I wanted something, I would go for it because I had that natural confidence within me. But somehow I had lots of doubts. So I allowed the doubts, like when I wanted something, be it a position at work or something like that, I'll get it. But as soon as I get it, the doubt will kick in. And then it's like, oh my God, they're just gonna find out that I don't deserve this position. And I'll just sit there in my own corner. And at times, even when it comes to my performance or actions that I needed to take, instead of asking for things that I did not understand so that I can get clarity, I did not ask questions or where I did not understand because in my mind, like beforehand, it's kind of like if I ask a question, they're gonna find out that I'm not intelligent enough. And already I was setting myself for failure. And then you're surprised things don't work out. You are surprised you don't excel as much as you want at work. You don't get the promotion that you desire. You don't get the raise that you desire. You are surprised that your girlfriend or your boyfriend walked out on you. You are surprised that your wife or your husband left. And you make it about the other person because one other thing again with low self-esteem, as much as you make it about something missing in you, chances of people who do not have the self-esteem of taking responsibility are really less if they don't exist at all. They hardly don't take responsibility. It's kind of like someone is doing something to me. And again, it's justified because I am not beautiful enough. I'm not intelligent enough. I'm not, you just go onto that road of how you deserve to be treated like that because you are not worthy and all that. And most of the time, again, if you do not have that sense of self, you just go with whatever that comes. Someone comes and say, hey, let's go out, I want to go to this place. You know it's not your thing, but you don't have that within you to say no, because on the other hand, you just want to be accepted, you want validation, you want approval. It's like this yak energy where it's kind of like you just go and try to reach for whatever that is passing by. You don't have the stand, you don't have something that this is what I stand for, this is who I am. And when you say no, you know that deserves to be respected. Have you ever watched maybe something that someone shared, and probably two people share one thing, and then the other one gets an okay positive feedback and the other one gets that judgment? Often we get what we are. Two people can do same thing, but they're gonna get different responses. And this is where there is a difference again with an idea of I love myself. I spoke about this before, that we mentalize self-love a lot. It's not who and what we are. It's more about an idea where probably you want to be in a relationship. You're tired of being lonely. And you use the defensive mechanism of, oh, I love myself so much, so I'm just okay with myself. I love myself. But you wake up at 1 a.m., at 2 a.m., at 3 a.m., and a part of you is scared. Is this going to be my whole life? Am I just going to be lonely like this? Am I going to find someone who loves me? And you look at your life, probably you've got children or whatever, wherever that you're at, and you go around that path again of looking at what is not present. And you feel like, I'm not going to find someone, I'm not worthy, I've missed my chance, and you go out all the way. And when you wake up in the morning, you wear that mask again. I love myself, so I'm just okay by myself. There is nothing wrong with just admitting that I'm tired of being lonely. I'm ready to date. But the question is, are you dating from wanting someone to accept things that you are not willing to accept about yourself? Are you dating because you want someone to love parts of you that are not willing to love? Are you willing to be in a date because you feel there's kind of like there's something that you are running from when you are by yourself? You understand? Because if you are coming from there, you're just gonna do the same thing that you did previously. That's why the past relationships did not work. Because one of the things of not having a high or stable high esteem is that clingy, where you kind of like get dependent. You don't give someone some air to breathe. You always find something wrong because you are trying to be proactive in sort of like securing your place or something like that. You always want to be needed. You leave things that you like. You don't get to know what you love, to do what you love. You just what you sort of like mesh into the other person. You erase yourself completely, which doesn't serve you. And it gets to be too much for the other person, where it's kind of like, I need to breathe. I cannot keep up with this anymore. And you mess things up. So with that said, how long are you willing to go on living that kind of life? How would it feel like to just embrace your magnificent? How would it feel like to really have that self-efficacy? How would it feel like to be able to communicate and share what you want, share your desires? How would it feel like to take action knowing that I'm gonna take this risk because I feel it within me that this is for me and it's gonna work for me? Because indecisiveness is also one of the qualities of low self-esteem, where it's kind of like, okay, I want to do it, and yeah, you don't take action, and then from there it's all anxiety. I should have done something about it, and all that. You are always in overwhelm, anxiety, indecisive, and again, a year later, you kind of like, I wish I would have done this earlier. Or, maybe that was, you don't even get to connect to your intuition because you are always in your head, trying to calculate, trying to understand what everyone wants. I was having a conversation with someone who said, he said something about, I am very good at knowing what people want. And he felt like, okay, this time around, I don't know, I have missed something or something like that. And he might be right. He's good at reading what other people want. But this habit of what do other people want is developed from, can I give them what they want so that they can accept me? And that's the kind of like the manipulation energy. Even if you're in a relationship with someone and your go-to is kind of like, what does this person want? Because again, your attention is not on yourself. You are always focused on, is this enough? Is this enough? You just give. And this is why most of the time people with lower self-esteem feel like people don't care about what they want. Why? Because you have removed yourself from the situation and you are trying to manipulate your way so that you can get what you want, which is that love, which is that acceptance, which is that approval, which is that validation. And how would it feel like to just open your central column and just call those highest vibrations of self-love, self-appreciation, self-approval, self-validation, self-compassion even? Because at times you don't want to hear about the low self-esteem. It's kind of like, I don't want to hear about it. I just want to either hide from it or just pretend that you don't know anything about it, But at the end of the day, you see what you see, because whatever that is happening within is what that which you are getting from outside of yourself. That's what you are creating. The universe is just bringing through to say, okay, fine, I hear you. I understand you saying that you desire to have this, but hey, how about working on this? That's just it. Or even when you talk about manifestation, I still remember I had a conversation with someone and the person said, no, I don't want to do any healing. I just want to have this. And what the person missed is that even though we call it healing, it's just to clear those blocks, hexes, curses, inherited ancestral patterns, limited behaviors and beliefs, thought patterns, and all that, so that you can manifest whatever that you desire. Because if you are still in fear, you're not going to take action. You're not going to express yourself. We are missing on your greatness, on your magnificence, because you are so caught up in what is not there. You are so caught up in your denial of your magnificence, which is the denial of the divine, the denial of God. Even the gifts, the talents that you have, the abilities that you have, we do not know about it because you are busy trying to find a way to manipulate others into accepting you, trying to find an indirect way of getting support, which ends up backfiring. And what's possible if you change that? How would you show up in life if you are embracing your confidence? How would you show up if you are that embodiment of your authentic self? How would you show up if you know that whatever action that you take, it's going to work for you? How would you show up fully embracing your sensuality, fully connected with yourself? Because one of the things that I know, because even when I talk about embodiment and even manifestation and all that, for us to create that which we desire here, we need to be connected to our body, because through our body we get to give birth to that which we desire. It's just the same procedure when you are pregnant with a child. You can have an idea of being pregnant, but if you're not really pregnant, you're not going to give birth to that child. So you can have so many inspirations, so many ideas, but if you are not in your body, if you are not holding that frequency in your in your creative space, your womb space, then what are you going to give birth to? That's why it's important to embrace that energy of joy, of pleasure, and bring in that which you desire. And one other thing, as much as I can say you are a magnificent being of light, I can talk about how great you are. The truth of it is that if you don't feel it, you don't feel it. And for us to change things is only by starting with where we're at. Of course, your past does not define who you are. But on the other hand, the future does not exist. The only time that exists is right here and right now. And this is the only time that you get to change things. So at times when we look at the present and we color it with those beautiful words and all that, at times it can just be an illusion, just like self-love, which is mentalized a lot. Everybody loves themselves. But do we feel it? Or we just hoping to get the validation, the approval from the social media, and then from there we just in our corner again feeling like we're a piece of crap, judging ourselves in secret, staying up at night. For how long? Because at times we just get to be real and look at things and say, you know what? Enough. This get to end, and it's ending now. And I'm making a decision to change my life for the best. And I am not just going to talk about it. I'm going to take action on it. What is the next expansive action that I can take? Source. And probably your soul is whispering to you to say, book that call. What do you get to lose? Nothing. And probably something that you've been thinking of for a long time. You've been going around it, like clicking that and I'll see you next time. You go back and a part of you says, go ahead. And it's like, yeah. And one of the things that I also hear is kind of like, oh, I just tried everything. I'm just going to, really? You tried everything? I don't remember having a conversation with you. So you haven't really tried everything. So this is what I just wanted to share today on Awakening Confidence Talk Show, and share when you're watching this and what is your takeaway from this, and invite and share it with people who can benefit from this. Because it is time that we awaken our confidence. It is time that we regain our vibrant self. It is time that we live life from passion, power, and sensuality. It is our divine right. Just take a deep breath. And open your heart. And feel into the force of confidence. Feel into the highest vibration of passion. Feel into that power, that willpower. You have it within you to decide what you want and align it with divine will. And claim your divine sovereignty. I love you. And I'll leave you with that. Much love.